So this is an update for this channel. We haven't posted anything for a couple months. There's been no new Eternal Confidence videos, and that is very obviously because of COVID-19 and quarantining and the importance of social distancing. It's made doing in-person interviews generally a bad idea, and it's not a risk that I've been comfortable taking as of yet. We're in the state of South Dakota, and we haven't been handling COVID-19 very well anyways, and how I do Eternal Confidence, going to people's homes, interviewing where they live, is far too close contact to be safe right now. A few people have suggested I do like Zoom interviews and things like that, and I think that could work well for other types of series and other types of content, but for Eternal Confidence, being with the person and seeing them properly in their living space and having that little bit of B-roll to kind of give geographical context a little bit to where they are is really important to the series. And so we're just not going to do any more interview style content until the world is back to normal and it's safe to do so. I believe that will happen within the next year, and so this channel will be on pause for quite a while. I just wanted to take this time to do an update and take this time to kind of talk about the channel in a way that I haven't gotten to and answer some questions directly. Eternal Confidence is kind of my baby, and I kind of just wanted to talk about like why I did this series. I think that would be this would be a great opportunity to answer that question. Why I did Eternal Confidence. My cats are going crazy right now, and so if you hear like running or attacking, I have two cats. This is Jude. Say hi, Jude. Hi. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. This is Jude. This is Waylon. Say hi, Waylon. Waylon's a little more high-strung. Anyways, they'll be running around in the background of this video. If you hear bumps and cat noises, it's these two. Why did I make this series? That's a really good question, I think, and colors a lot of what it means to people. I think when you kind of get to know the intention of the creator, it can put a different perspective on the viewing experience, and I appreciate that. And so I kind of want to be transparent about my motives and about my personal beliefs, because I'm asking people to be very transparent and vulnerable about their own personal beliefs, which is a weight that I try very hard to acknowledge and try very hard to be conscious of. The questions that I ask people are kind of can be kind of invasive and kind of personal as far as kind of their religious beliefs, and so this is a moment that I can take to return that. I deconverted from Christianity in college, which is a very cliche thing to do. And I haven't had a conversation with my family about that, or very important people that I grew up with. I think they know that my beliefs aren't the same as they once were, but I don't think they know to the extent, or the fact that I just don't really believe in God at all anymore. And that terrifies me. I'm very afraid of how that would impact our relationship if we had that conversation. And that's a lot of the emotional drive behind this series, is because I want other people to not have to be afraid, because they can have use this series as kind of practice conversations, if you will. Ask these questions about belief and motivation behind changing belief and motivation behind keeping the same belief, and be able to empathize without regard for correctness through my series. And maybe those conversations are a little easier to have with you and your loved ones, because I know for me they're very, very scary. And so my own personal deconversion from Christianity was definitely a huge motivation in starting the series. Basically, I get to ask questions I wish I could ask my loved ones. And I could have conversations that I don't have access to with the people that are really important to me right now. And I think using that anxiety and insecurity and also that affection that I have for Christianity and for Christian individuals has shaped this series into something that I'm really proud of. Even though I'm no longer a Christian, I still have relatively mainstream evangelical sensibilities. I think my faith definitely shaped me into who I am today, and definitely still plays a part in how I live my day-to-day life. I think it the way it developed my sense of morality and how I view altruism, stuff like that, is very much rooted in my religious upbringing and my religious beliefs that I had as a teenager. I think that I definitely still have religious, like, I unironically still listen to like Reliant K and 10th Avenue North and 116 and Humble Beast and check Rapzilla every once in a while for new music and Social Club and a lot of CHH and CCM, and also I like Owl City, and so I have like very very conservative evangelical sensibilities. My favorite movie, believe me, is a faith film. I guess you can consider it. I wouldn't consider it a faith film per se. I think it was a movie made by Christians about Christianity, but I wouldn't consider it like in the same vein as like Sherwood films like Facing the Giants or things like that. But it is a movie about Christianity made by Christians, and as a filmmaker, it's one of the most impactful movies I've ever seen in my life. And I think my faith definitely plays a part in that and how they look at faith. And I really suggest watching the movie Believe Me. It's about how we base a lot of our beliefs on aesthetics. And it's a really interesting look at the relationship between culture and faith. Anyways, I still have a lot of affection for Christianity. I love kind of a lot of the themes of the Bible and a lot of the themes of Christianity. I love the Bible as like this love story, the idea that the universe exists out of this act of affection, and like God's love for us is why we exist at all. It's a very beautiful thought. And so there's a lot of things about Christianity that I really admire still and I have a lot of affection to. I no longer am convinced, 100% that it's true. And so I no longer am a Christian. And it's not that that's affected my relationships, but I'm terrified that it will if I ever have those conversations with those people who are very important to me, that are still religious. Less so with people that I met after I was no longer religious, that are religious. Religious people that I met after I was no longer religious, I'm less afraid of. But yeah, so this series was a way for me to deal with that personally and hopefully give other people a chance to be less anxious about those conversations. A chance to feel a little more empathy to those beliefs that you may not have and you may not completely understand, but this is a chance to see where people are coming from in an unimpeded way. I remember going to church and having like atheism taught to me from a Christian pastor's perspective of what atheism is. I wouldn't consider myself an atheist. I would say I'm agnostic, but whatever. Or a Christian pastor's perspective of what agnosticism is without hearing from someone who's agnostic. And I feel like it was always these caricatures of these assumptions of belief, and there was never really any interest in a conversation. And on the same exact vein, I see a lot of on the internet, a lot of atheists and a lot of agnostics and a lot of people who have deconverted from Christianity, very angry and very bitter and very uninterested in having a conversation about Christianity or a conversation with Christians, and more interested in pontificating about why this religion is so harmful and things like that. And I think it's valid to criticize Christianity, just like it is valid to criticize any belief system, but there's definitely a sense of bitterness I get from ex-Christians that shuts down any conversation, and it leaves the feeling that, oh, these people are not interested in being affectionate towards Christian individuals. And by same token, when you hear a pastor talk about atheism in a way that's cartoonish and characteristic, I'm like, oh, you have no interest in being affectionate to these people. And I wanted to make a space that was only interested in affection. There's no correct way to answer these questions, and I'll never tell anybody they're wrong. And so giving people a space to represent their own worldview on their terms, I find very affectionate. And that's my way of being loving in the middle of this conflict that I feel internally and I see externally. I love being angsty and insecure and unsure with people, and bringing these questions that I don't have the answer to these people, and getting to have kind of this open-ended conversation where they get to say whatever they want, and I'm not there to tell them they're wrong or put commentary on what they say, is the way that I feel I can be most affectionate, both towards the ex-Christian community, the community who's no longer Christians, and Christians themselves. Kind of both of those people I feel very close to when I'm having a conversation that's not pressured by correctness, which I feel like it often is. And so that's a lot of what this series is. This series is an attempt at affection in the midst of this, philosophical disagreement. And I think there are a lot of implications beyond just philosophical, religious. This bleeds into interpersonal and political and, family relational dynamics as well. And so maybe this is a way for us to wrestle with those in a little more wholesome way than we might be primed to, particularly on the internet. Having said that, a lot of my inspiration in creating this is from the internet. Jubilee is a wonderful YouTube channel that gives space for people to explore ideas without commenting on their correctness in a way that is incredible and really important. So if you follow my channel, I really suggest you follow Jubilee as well. The creator of Humans in New York does an incredible job of showcasing the diversity of humanity, and people's stories is significant, and also Special Books by Special Kids taught me how important to the world interviews can be and an interview series can be. Special Books by Special Kids is perhaps the most important content on the internet, I believe. And so those three creators specifically have really inspired me to make content in this vein. There's also Hank Green and his work with PBS Digital Studios has really influenced my view of what content can be. Vsauce is, I'm a big fan of Vsauce, and that's influenced what content can be. Smarter Every Day, a lot of content creators. So I think I talk very cynically about the internet sometimes, but I also recognize that a lot of the best things in my life are from the internet, and I want to be able to give back to that in some meaningful way, and this series is an attempt at that. So that's why I make this series. It's I am going through untangling these questions that I'm asking people myself, and I am still untangling the interpersonal implications of these questions myself, and I want you to be able to be one step ahead of me. Hopefully you don't have to deal with the same anxiety that I have to deal with about these issues if you're either deconverting from Christianity yourself or someone you love is deconverting from Christianity, or anything like that. So that's why I made the series. How I make the series. So here's kind of a behind the scenes look a little bit. The basic premise is, so there's 10 questions per season. Each question then becomes its own episode, and you see how different people answer the same question. I really like that format, and I like the format of having the same people for the whole season. I feel like you get to learn about them in some way that's really exciting to me. Formatting content like this is really difficult, actually a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, and I'm still learning how to do that better. I like following the same people through the whole season and seeing how their answers connect with the answers before, and maybe these experiences inform how they look at this issue. I record about twice as many interviews as I need to, and then I pick the strongest 6, 3 religious and 3 non-religious. My cat's throwing up. My cat just threw up. I'll be right back. So I have this pet urine remover. I hope it's good for throw up as well. Anyways. Yeah, where was I? Oh, so I interview twice as many people as I need, and that's so I can pick kind of the strongest 6 that connect together thematically. So it's quite a bit of work to make a season. I interview 12 people, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that does mean going to kind of a dozen people's houses, having lunch with a dozen people, explaining to a dozen people what your process is. A lot of these people I'm meeting for the first time to do this series. There are a few people that were my friends. In the first season, there was quite a few people who I knew personally. Ben, I knew. Paul's an artist friend that I knew. And Tenley is a really, really talented cartoonist and illustrator. You should follow her on Instagram. I'll put that in the doobly-doo. Anyways, so I'm having 12 people per season, which is quite a bit. And so it does take quite a while to finish the season. I texted my partner about the cat throwing up. Looks like she's getting back to me. He was doing this weird thing where he was like having trouble breathing. And I was like, what do I do with the cat? But now he's fine, so I don't know what's up. She says, "Aw, poor baby." Okay. I think everything's good now. Okay. Okay. The cat throwing up threw me off. If there's any other questions or whatever, comment. I suggest follow. I'm not going to post on Eternal Confidence new content for a while. I am still doing some film stuff though. You can follow my personal Instagram. I'm doing like fashion videos right now for whatever reason, which are really fun to do. And I think they look pretty cool too. So if you're into that stuff, follow my personal. I'm making it feel like short films too, or whatever. If you're into that stuff, follow my personal Instagram account. Otherwise, if you're not following Eternal Confidence on Instagram, I suggest you do that. I'm going to be posting some old interviews and just put some more commentary on how I feel about those interviews. Also on this channel, when I can start interviewing people again, I'm going to do different stuff than just religion. The last video I uploaded was a protest interview thing, which is cool. I'm thinking about doing more of that, like event, interviewing people at events, because that was really interesting and I think necessary. But as far as series go, there's going to be some offshoot series when things get back to normal. So one idea that I have that I'm really excited about is interviewing people who have very sad jobs or who have traumatic experiences at work and what that's like to work a high pressure job and things like that. 911 dispatch officers, I know a few, and doctors and people who just work emotionally taxing jobs, asking about their experiences. That's a series that hopefully will come to this channel. So yeah, it's not only going to be Eternal Confidence moving forward. It will be Eternal Confidence as the main thing going forwards when it's safe enough to record again. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, whatever, let me know, comment, or send me a DM on Instagram. I would love to talk about anything relating to any of this. Anyways, okay, I really appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you guys helping the world become a little more empathetic and patient when we talk about things that we disagree with. I think that's a really important thing, and you guys are a part of making that happen simply by watching and sharing and liking and subscribing and following. All that stuff helps build a better platform for these conversations to happen. Okay. Until next time, which I don't know when I'll upload again on this channel, hopefully the next time I upload, the world is in a better place. So let's cross our fingers, and I'm going to go check on my cat some more.